Right, so yeah, it's an All Blacks defeat, which probably means it's a perfect excuse to stay away from social media today, because as you know, and news media, because as you know, whenever the All Blacks lose, it's kind of feels like the end of the world for New Zealand, and the economy is going to tank. Not that it needs much more tanking, but that's how extreme it is. And yeah, they say South African rugby fans are the worst. Well, I think that's pretty much presumptuous to say, and pretty much pot calling the kettle black. But look, Arjun, it is crazy to think that this is the first time that the Pumas have beaten the All Blacks in Argentina. Because yes, they've beaten the All Blacks three times in the past. They beat them on the Gold Coast, or not Parramatta, sorry, in that funny lockdown year. They beat the All Blacks in New Zealand, Christchurch, and in Wellington. So yeah, this is the first time that Argentina has beaten the All Blacks, New Zealand, in Argentina. So it's probably about overdue. So kind of a bit expected, I think. Yeah. So look, certainly, it just kind of show Argentina. You got to give Argentina credit. They played to their strengths. They really slowed the game down. Didn't allow the All Blacks to play the tempo. I thought, there were lots of players who were quite anonymous, and the frustrations were there, and it was quite evident the discipline just kind of fell apart. We were, it was just kind of crazy thing. Argentina is usually one of the most penalized sides in world rugby in terms of penalties and discipline, but it's the All Blacks who, at one stage, were down to 13 men and gave us the funny situation, the pretty much once in a lifetime situation where the score at halftime is 13 all, and the All Blacks were down to 13 men. But really issues with discipline, and you had someone like Jordan and of Tupou Vaa'i going to the bin. You had it's kind of not really common to see. They're often the most reliable players in the All Blacks, certainly most disciplined, but it seems like the rabid Buenos Aires crowd. They're of course playing at the Del Sarsfield Stadium, which a lot of these guys have played when they played the Jaguares. It's a different atmosphere playing in Buenos Aires, and I thought certainly Argentina would have been furious after that. What was a pretty limp performance first up in Cordoba. In a place which they expected to be, put up a really decent showing. It's difficult. Look, it's difficult to say which All Blacks really stood out. I think a lot of them got, like Cortez Ratimer, of course, came off early. Simon Parker, I thought, not really much to say, but I think it's his first game. Didn't really offer much against a very physical Argentina pack, and DMAC came on and tried to force things, but the midfield, Beauden Barrett missed. I think Beauden Barrett put aside. He left 7 points off on the bench with his goal kicking, including one straight in front. Which I guess, in the scheme of things, we probably would have won it. So, it was so this was in the end, I guess the key is execution. The execution by the All Blacks was just not up to scratch. But, they have, I guess, and then I guess the other question mark is, let's go. I guess the All Blacks have they'll travel back to New Zealand now to prepare for South Africa at Eden Park. South Africa would have bounced back after that close win against the Wallabies, who many argue would have thrown that the chance to win two tests back to back in South Africa since the 1960s. That which is a crazy stat to think. That Australia actually won a series in South Africa before the All Blacks did. But in any case, the Wallabies certainly blew their chance, and we now find ourselves all square. This is going to be quite an interesting rugby championship. But I guess for the All Blacks, there's a lot of questions. I think it'll be harsh to just discard Simon Parker like that when We need to see him at home, and he was playing at number 8, which is not the position that he's excelled in this season for the Chiefs and Northland. Several Reese, big question marks as well. Look, he still scores a lot of tries, but really that was a very clear yellow card all day, which, when we were kind of on the front foot and seemed set to steal the game back, is the last thing you wanted. So, but yeah, look, and this was a performance set up by the Argentina forwards who really out physical muscled the All Blacks when it mattered. Like the All Blacks really had one. We thought they started really sloppily, but we thought they turned it on when when they got those 2 tries. One of them Fletcher knew. I can't remember who got the other try. No, sorry. Yes, it was Proctor. And it seemed like they were on their way, but then they had those 2. They went down to 13, and it was 13-0, and Argentina felt like they had a chance to win. So, yeah, so a lot to think about in the weeks. Maybe is this a good thing for South Africa? Maybe not. I guess I think South Africa have sort of been priming this Eden Park test against the All Blacks as the one they want to win, almost more so than the rugby championship. But look, maybe but they will be up against an All Blacks team that doesn't often lose 2 games in a row. So, and it's safe to say the Boks haven't exactly shown. I guess that makes that intrigue, that Eden Park test in a fortnight's time, quite interesting. But yeah, so that is the last Sunday in New Zealand test for a while until the end of year tour. We go back to Saturday night rugby. Which is convenient because I guess, it means we don't have to contemplate skipping church or that sort of thing, and we can watch it on Saturday night. But yeah, look, what are your thoughts on the game? Did actually anyone stand up for the All Blacks? Look, I think Gonzalo Garcia, who got the winning try for Argentina, he was my stand-up for me. But look, what are your thoughts on the game? And what do we need to do next? Certainly not the end of the world as people think, and I think we're now All Blacks fans in 2025 are a bit more mature now and realize that World Rugby is a whole lot closer than it is. But look, if you like this video, feel free to like, and don't forget to subscribe.